Welcome back to Incubate Talent, where today we'll be spotlighting programs and career pathways in advanced manufacturing at Calhoun Community College. Joining us today is Nathan Steele, the Director of Collaborative Programs, who leads the co-op workforce initiatives tied to Calhoun's Associates of Applied Sciences major. We had the opportunity to tour the Advanced Technology Center at Calhoun's Decatur campus, where they have state-of-the-art facilities helping teach hands-on STEM skills in manufacturing, robotics, machining, welding, and industrial controls. During this episode, Nathan shares many great insights about the different STEM career pathways for students and successes that they're having creating a talent pipeline that addresses the workforce needs of industry. For students, parents, or even professionals looking to make a change, these programs are a great example of the ways that you can learn trade skills, get certified, and earn STEM jobs without a four-year degree. We hope you enjoy this episode. All right, welcome back to Incubate Talent, and today we are on the campus of Calhoun Community College, and we have joining us here Nathan Steele. Nathan, I appreciate you hosting us.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, certainly. So how about we just dive right in? Tell us a little bit about yourself and where we are today and the programs that you're responsible for.
So, like you said, my name is Nathan Steele. I serve as the coordinator for our collaborative programs here at Calhoun. I've got 4 programs that I support. They're all manufacturing programs, just different focuses. Industrial maintenance, I've got process technology, I've got CNC machining, and I've got aerospace.
That's wonderful. And so that's FAME, EPIC, what
AMP
it is?
and ACE.
Okay. That's great. And so what part of the college are we sitting in today, or are those programs a part of?
So today we're in the Advanced Technology Center here on the Decatur campus. All of these programs are in our technologies department.
So what kind of degree pathways are students normally going through to be able to get interested in these?
So in these degree paths, they're Associate of Applied Technology is what these all fall under in our advanced manufacturing programs.
Great. Well, I'll tell you, Calhoun is a special place to me. I think I mentioned before we jumped on here. I actually went through the Decatur campus here and took a lot of courses and ended up transferring out to be able to go finish my 4-year degree. What does that look like here? What's the student body? You see most kids coming through this program, they're getting that associates and going directly into the field. Are they transferring out?
So for my programs, typically they're coming to get the knowledge and experience that they need to go directly to work. I do have some that pursue further education, but for the most part they're just getting their degree so they can go to work and make money.
That's great. So what kind of jobs are they getting into? So, we fast forward, they're getting some education, some certifications and training here. What are the main job roles that they're going out and doing?
So for my programs, my FAME program, those students are going into industrial maintenance, any of our manufacturing facilities that are in the area. If they got equipment, it's got to run. So they're over here learning about, robotics, electrical, hydraulics, pneumatics, things like that they can take to that facility and be able to apply it and, keep those plants up and running so they can make their products.
And so when they enter into these programs, what's a week look like for them? I mean, both for the student as well as the expectations for employers.
So what it looks like here at this college, they come to college 2 days a week to get their, the theory and everything like that. The other 3 days a week, they spend at the facility working with mentors, working with other technicians, so they can get the on-the-job piece of it that is really critical to what they're doing. You can come get a degree, but if you don't have that experience, you really don't have everything you need.
Right. So we talk a lot about ecosystems here, and a STEM ecosystem, and we spotlight across the state of Alabama. If we take a step back, how would you describe the ecosystem, both of Calhoun, but especially of the manufacturing type programs that you have?
There's a lot of different industries in this area. We support from, automotive, aerospace, chemicals. There's a lot of different things going on in our ecosystem here.
Mm-hmm. And if we focus on industry specifically for a moment, who are some of the key industry players, specific companies that are helping make this possible?
So for us, with my FAME program, we have 14. We're looking at 14 different companies that we work with. The major ones that we are working with now: Toyota, Mazda Toyota, YKTA, GE Appliances, Sunoco Wood Products. That's just a few of the ones that we work with FAME. In other programs, for AMP, we work a lot with Snap-on Tools. We work with Intech Medical. We work with GE Appliances. They're if they have something break on their line, they may need a machinist to go out there and make the part. So for my EPIC program, the primary companies I work with there: Daikin, IVXP, Ascend. They're all in Decatur. And then for my ACE program, the aerospace program, we work with Lockheed, we work with Boeing, Griffin Aerospace, Beyond Gravity. Those are our major companies that we work with there.
Something that's interesting to me, thinking about some of those companies and industry, I mean, especially within like the aerospace field, and just learning a little bit about the ACE program. I think that there's probably a mindset of students that like, oh, I can't go work for that company because I'm not going to go get an aerospace engineering degree. What would you say to that as far as the pathways and the different types of skills and jobs to go?
So I always tell students, if they want to go the engineering pathway, that it's always a better idea to come and get some hands-on experience. These technicians that are working can make a good living as a technician. When they come and get that hands-on experience, they could potentially take that experience and then roll into an engineering type program to where they can further that. It'll make them a better engineer because they know both sides.
Certainly, and developing some different skills along the way too, right? I mean, it's walking through some of the shops and things that you all have, and seeing some of the things that the students created. It's wonderful.
They do an amazing job. Creation. We've got a student over here. He was a dual enrollment student, graduated early. He's 16, and he was over here just this week. He was designing a chainsaw engine block.
Really?
And he was out there in the CNC shop cutting it out. Last semester, he took a plastic camshaft out of a lawnmower engine, made it out of aluminum, put it in there. They say the engine's still running with his part in there.
It worked. Wow.
So that's pretty cool, especially when you see somebody that young that's that interested in getting in there and learning the things. So I expect he'll have a bright future ahead of him.
Sounds like it.
But all of our students, they invest a lot of time into learning these different trades that really support our ecosystem here in this area, feeding the talent that these employers need.
And so we have industry that you all are helping feed talent, and you mentioned a talented student that is dual enrolled currently. So if we look at other education, just the K through 12, what does that ecosystem look like for you all? I mean, are you getting kids from Limestone, Madison County primarily, or from all over?
We're getting students from all over, especially the schools that have dual enrollment programs. Some Limestone County, they've got a lot of different dual enrollment programs, for these different fields, and they're developing more. They're working on one here in Morgan County now, the Rural Development Park that will have a lot of these STEM pathways in them.
That's great. And are they in a specific class? Like would you encourage a high school student to look at a specific coursework or class at their high school to be able to go and dual enroll and get into your program? So what's that look like?
So for dual enrollment, they can do it they can take their general education classes, or they can take these technical programs. A lot of the schools have machining. They have welding. We haven't talked about welding, but that's a big a big program that we have here is welding. They're starting to do a lot of the aerospace programs as dual enrollment. So, but yes, it can feed into my programs here.
And so while we're still talking about the students, I mean, you mentioned welding and the different kinds of skills. What kind of jobs are these translating into? I mean, if a kid comes in here and learns how to weld, what would you tell them as far as the different possibilities and pathways that they would have?
So with welding, they could go into manufacturing, like say Polaris, and do like production welding. They could travel and do pipe welding. They could do structural welding. We've got some of them over here that they show up with a welder on the back of the truck. So, they could even be out, farm equipment, anything like that. They could be out there welding it up and fixing things where they are.
And I just asked that because I've known a few students and just others through family that ended up developing some of those trade skills, and welding being one that really opened up a lot of possibilities for them. It's a valuable skill.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk more about the industries specifically. You mentioned some of the specific companies that are helping with your programs and create co-op programs, and obviously there's that beautiful relationship there of you all helping develop talent and skills for them to go and work at these companies. It's a great success. What would you say is the work that still needs to be done? What would your call to action for industry still be, and where we have gaps to overcome, or where you all need more help?
I think the biggest thing that we need is, company involvement, ways to make students aware of what's out there. I feel like if they can't see some of these things, they sure can't be it.
Yeah.
So, visual aids would be good, so they can, I can talk to you about any of these programs and what you do, but if you can't see it, if you're not familiar with it at all, how do you really know what it kind of entails?
Certainly. And how do you see that happening? I mean, again, I'll walk in here, I see these wonderful facilities, and again, I mean, if you were to have a student come here and see that, I imagine it would spark an interest. But what if they don't come here? Like, what else do you all do in kind of outreach?
I spend a lot of time going to classroom visits, talking to students. I do college and career fairs. We've actually got a technologies trailer. It's actually the whole side of it opens up. It's got a stage on it.
Really?
And that we can actually take out to schools, because that's one of the things that I found is not all the kids that are, say, graduating high school have ever been to this campus. They don't know what we have. Mm-hmm. So if we can take that to them, I believe that would help our success of getting them interested into these career paths.
I love that. And yeah, just being able to see it helps create that spark and show what we often talk about as STEM in action, right? And students, getting hands-on and actually doing things. It's a different way to learn. It's a different way to gain perspective, right?
I've even got so for our STEM trailer, I've got, sometimes it's just hard to get them to talk, get them interested in things. So I've got it's like an excavator arm. It runs off water, but everything works. Really? So then you can get into talking to them about, the fluid power, and, it's actually just using water. So you could use that water and it's got grill pellets in it. So they can pick them up and move them around. Yep. They may look at it and say, well, we're talking about excavators, but we can really talk about many other things with it.
That's powerful. That's great. So we've talked a little bit about industry. We've talked about students. Let's talk about teachers. So what does a typical educator do as part of these programs, and what does that look like?
So all of our instructors have been in the industries that they're teaching in. So, one of my FAME instructors, he came through FAME. Mm-hmm. He was sponsored at Toyota. He worked there for several years after he graduated. We had a opening come up, and he applied for it and got it, and he's been a great asset to us here, because he can relate the things that he's teaching to them. Our machining instructor, he was a machinist, worked at several different aerospace companies when he was working in the field. So I think that when they can really relate what they know
certainly
to the student, so for our process technology program, the lady that primarily teaches it, she's a chemical engineer, so
okay.
she knows she knows that side of it. So I think
Yeah.
all that helps with the students getting what they need to be prepared when they go out there in these careers.
Yeah, I mean it's very I'll say hands-on technical skills. So being able to pull them from industry and kind of bring that hands-on experience into especially the kind of environments that you all have here, I imagine is critical.
Right.
What are the qualifications for something like that? Are there specific certifications, whether it's like to be a teacher or even to be able to operate some of the machines?
For us instructors, they have to have an associate's degree.
Okay.
So they don't have to have higher level degrees to get in and be able to teach here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they can go farther, but to be able to teach, they have to at least have the education level that they're teaching to.
Certainly. And we often talk here about we need more teachers. I think we could all attest to that. So what are your thoughts there? Any kind of calls to action, thoughts about helping develop the next generation of teachers?
I think for the teachers coming in, it's sometimes difficult to find them because they're not going to be able to make what they would make in industry working here at the college. So they have to have a passion for it. And some people do have a big passion for teaching and helping others.
Yeah. Would you say most are full-time or are these part-time positions?
For the most part, our instructors are full-time.
Okay.
We like to keep as many full-times as we can.
Of course. Yeah, I imagine that's a hard balance sometimes, especially if you're pulling them from industry and so on.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about the community itself. And you had mentioned that there's folks in the community or students that have never even been on the Calhoun campus or really know what is happening here. Now you all have multiple campuses, correct?
So yes, we have the Decatur campus. We have a Huntsville campus, downtown Decatur. We have the Center for the Arts. They are just completing the STEAM Innovation Center downtown.
Okay.
So we have several different campuses.
And so arts, but STEAM, and then you all obviously have a lot of manufacturing, but I know there's other buildings here in Decatur teaching all sorts of different courses. What about the Huntsville campus?
So, of course, our advanced manufacturing is primarily here on the Decatur campus, but we're working on expanding some of it to the Huntsville campus. But, in Huntsville, they like I said, do some of the advanced manufacturing.
Yeah.
They've got some health programs over there in Huntsville, general studies, that sort of thing is what they do there. Here on the Decatur campus, we've got health. Our nursing program is large.
Mm-hmm.
We've got business CIS. Technologies wise, welding.
Yeah.
We're actually welding, aerospace, machining, industrial maintenance. We're actually in the process of bringing on an airframe and power plant program for students that want to learn to work on airplanes. We are bringing on a diesel program. We currently have a automotive repair program, but we're going to be bringing on diesel here in the near future.
Oh, that's great.
So there's going to be a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Even when you look at working on cars, it's not what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much computer control that they've really got to be able to understand what's going on with those cars to be able to repair them.
It's definitely changed. So a lot of successful stories. And again, as somebody who actually went through briefly here at Calhoun, it's amazing to see how much the campus has grown. It's wonderful. What would you say to the community, though, in just trying to help raise awareness and continue that outreach?
We're here to help. We're anything that we can do to help you, we're willing to do it.
Yeah. So a core part of the community too, of course, is the parents, and that's another group that really we try and focus on because as we talk about communities, as we talk about the students themselves. What would you say to parents? How could parents be able to help get more to your program?
The light on manufacturing has always been it's dark, dingy, nasty, dirty, all the things. Manufacturing is not like that anymore. It's safety focused. A lot of the facilities are air conditioned. So I think for a parent, they need to understand that, it's a good place for their kids to be. These programs, when they graduate, they can grow.
Yeah.
It's not like it's the end for them. There's still many things that they can grow into. I think a major thing that parents should know would be that there's scholarships available.
Yes.
So we have a lot of scholarships. We have foundation scholarships. We have institutional scholarships, and I would encourage them to make sure that the kids are applying to those scholarships and receiving them, because any money you can save is money earned.
Certainly.
So when they're working through my programs, they're getting paid, so they're putting more in their pocket.
Well, I imagine as you talk about like your STEM trailer or bus and just going out, I mean, there's adding perspective to students' lives, but also their parents as well. And I think helping understand what the career possibilities are, and then how to overcome some of those barriers of entry with a scholarship is wonderful.
Yeah, we've got an open house coming up soon, and parents, potential students, companies, they're all invited to come out, and I'm going to have industry representatives there, so they will be able to talk to them, and they can tell them what life's like at their facility to help ease any concerns that they might have, and let them know that it's a place that it would be okay for their kids to work. Yeah,
that's great. That's great. So let's take a deeper dive into some of these programs. So let's maybe start with FAME. So FAME is the Federation for Advanced Manufacturing Education. Help us understand a little bit more about the FAME program.
The FAME program, it actually started in Kentucky at Toyota, to build a pipeline to get the technicians in that had the skills and the knowledge to keep their plant running. And from that, it's expanded. Calhoun was actually the first chapter in Alabama for the FAME program, and it has grown from Calhoun being the first to now Alabama is actually the largest. We have the largest number of FAME programs in the country.
Wow.
So, but with the FAME program and its success, these other programs, ACE, AMP, EPIC, they kind of were born out of the FAME model.
Yeah, it was the catalyst.
So we had a model that worked, so we just rolled it into other focus areas. So.
Well, that's great. And remind me again, so the specific types of career fields that students are going in with FAME?
So FAME is going to be, repairing, troubleshooting, preventative maintenance, all those kind of things in manufacturing.
And what's the cycle look like for some of these programs? I know we'll probably talk more about specific events and application deadlines that you all have. Any specific to FAME?
Deadlines wise? So we've got a March 15th deadline for applications.
Okay.
Students that are interested, they have to apply to the college and to the program. They have to meet minimum qualifications. They have to be college ready to go into English 101 and Math 100. With students that qualify, they will have interviews. So it's a panel style interview. They come in with all the companies that are interested in sponsoring a student, and it's just they go around and ask them questions. They're rating them on how they interview. They're rating them on they have to write an essay, so they're rating their essay. So all those types of things. I could see where it would be very intimidating to a student coming in, especially if they haven't interviewed for anything before, to come into a room like that with maybe 20 people in it.
But gosh, I mean, that's, we talk about the skills that they develop, in manufacturing and other things. But just being able to go through an interview process, being able to actually write, those are still incredibly important, tangible and intangible skills.
Right.
Yeah. So EPIC, the Excellence in Process Industrial Controls.
So that program is designed for chemical operators.
Okay.
Primarily here in Decatur. They may not be making something that you can see, but they may be making the chemical that goes into it. Mm-hmm. Some examples that one of the companies I work with, they make a little small pellet, but that little pellet goes into TVs, it goes into cell phone screens, goes into tires, just goes into a lot of things. So the students that go into that program, they may be in a control room. So control rooms just got like a lot of computer screens in it, TVs. Their whole chemical process is on those screens, and they're monitoring temperatures, pressures, flows, levels, all the things to make sure that the product that they're making is coming out on spec. Mm-hmm. If it's not on spec, they can't sell it. So, but they may spend part of their time in that control room. Other times they are out in the facility, checking pumps, valves, motors, getting things ready for the maintenance people to come in and fix. So that's kind of the things that they do as an operator.
And I didn't realize, reading a little bit about the EPIC program, there was something out on the website that mentioned, I guess, our area is the second nationally for chemical plants and system operators. And as somebody local here, I guess you just don't gain that perspective or understanding. So again, the ecosystem itself, what does that look like
for chemical?
Yeah.
So in here in Decatur, we have several the chemical companies. I think I mentioned the main ones I work with: IVXP, Daikin, Ascend.
Yeah.
There are many others, but to fill the need for those companies, I work hard to get those students in. A lot of these companies, you don't just walk in there with no experience or a degree, and the EPIC program allows them to go into start fresh. They go in, they may not have any knowledge of any of it, and the company can teach them their culture, how they want them to do things, which leads to long-term employees when they get done.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate that. Again, it helps add perspective about the different types of opportunities and industries that are just right here in our community. Let's talk about ACE. So you're telling me earlier, ACE is a program, especially around aerospace, that gets a lot of attention, a lot of focus, just being as close to Huntsville.
I have a lot of students that are applying for our ACE program. It's aerospace, but they're in that program. They're learning about building wiring harnesses, soldering. They're getting certifications in those. They're learning about composites, like carbon fiber. They do riveting. They learn about torquing, bonding, things like that that are all related to. It could be building airplanes. It could be building rockets. So just all the things that are focused around the aerospace industry.
And so you were showing me some of the things that they had actually created, or really the hands-on things. So what are some of those, for those that can't see the visual, what are some of the hands-on things that they're doing within the aerospace program?
So like one of the things, like I mentioned, wiring harnesses, they actually have to build the harnesses and, build them, test them, because, if they're going on something that flies, it's got to be right.
Yep.
So, I was up there the other day, and they were laying up some carbon fiber. So, carbon fiber it's a fabric.
Yeah.
So they lay it up, and they have to put resin on it to get it to, take the shape or form and harden and all those things. So they do a lot of different things. Every time I'm up there, they're always busy and learning and excited about it.
Oh, that's great. And you said, how many students do you all normally accept into that program?
So ideally, we would have 12 students in that program, to make sure that the instructor can work with all the students. You don't want so many students that you can't focus on them, because, we want to be providing a quality education for the students.
Certainly. And how many applicants did y'all have most recently?
So this will be our third year that we've done the ACE program, and the applicants have grown. I think we're still roughly a month, 15 days basically now
coming up.
So we're up to about 25 applicants right now, but as you know, most people are going to wait till the last minute to get it in there. So I expect the week leading up to the 15th, we're really going to see them come in then.
And so all these programs we're talking about, the 15th kind of lines up and just the application deadline?
And the reason I set my dates based on the FAME program, I always like to do those first. So, if all of my students don't get picked up, I can say, hey, what would you think about this program or this program?
Mm-hmm.
But I set my dates to align with a signing day. We work a lot with the National Centers for Certification. It's
Okay.
NC3 is
Yeah.
what it is. But they have a national signing day to if you were going to play ball somewhere, you would have a signing day to honor you. So we're doing that same thing with the students who choose career technical education as their career path. So it's a televised type event.
That's wonderful.
So really want to showcase everybody that I can in that. And we even go to awards days at schools, high schools, and if they're in any of the programs that I support, we take them a certificate and present it.
Yeah.
I went to several of those last year, and it's a really, I think it's a big thing for the student, for the parents.
It is.
To see that.
It is, and not even just directly for them. That's there's a great book out there, The Power of Moments, and it talks about just different moments in life and how to create those experiences and the impact it has on people. And one of the stories is actually some educators that had a very similar concept. They tried to create the National Signing Day around academics and would bring kids into the gymnasium. And it's fascinating, though, because not only does it create a wonderful experience for those students and their families, but then you've got the other kids that are maybe a little younger that kind of see, hey, I can do that too. Right.
Yeah. I want to be there. I want to do that.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. That's so wonderful that you all do something like that.
And if anybody can come out, that's happening on April the 10th. So.
Where
it will
exactly?
be here in the Advanced Technology Center here on the Decatur campus.
April the 10th.
April the 10th.
We're
hoping to have a big turnout. Last year, turnout was so big that we were adding chairs while it was going on to get everybody in.
Man, that's a great problem to have.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So AMP was one of the last programs.
So that's the Alliance for Machining Professionals. The students are. For that program, they start in our manual machining shop. They're learning about mills and lathes, and how to set them up, how to make parts on them. So they learn the beginning part of it, and then they move over here into the CNC shop. If you don't know, CNC stands for Computer Numerical Control. They they work with computers a lot and programming and modeling and. Setting things up, making the parts. For that program in this area, you could be working in medical. We work with a company over in Athens that they're doing surgical instruments and implants, like replacement knee joints, spinal implants, things like that. You could be in automotive. We've got students that work with like Mazda, Toyota that are doing machining. I actually have a student at GE Refrigerators that's works with the maintenance team in machining. So all the way rockets.
It's just such diverse industries. That's fascinating.
So you learn machining and you can go anywhere with that.
Yeah.
So.
Nathan, a question we ask everybody here, and in hearing you speak and just your passion, we always ask, what was that spark for you? Your background, do you recall a moment in life or something that kind of got you where you are today? And that
I never intended to be here doing what I do. I was 32 when I started coming to college. I'd worked as a plumber, electrician, gas fitter, and I'm like, I don't want to spend my whole life crawling in people's floors, under people's floors, in attics, and all those sorts of things. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna go see if I can get into one of these high tech, fields. I wanted to do industrial maintenance. When I graduated, they said, hey, do you want to stay? So I started here as a part-time lab assistant. Went to a full-time lab assistant. I've been an instructor, and now I've been in this role that I'm in now for about 3 years now. So, I didn't know that this is what I wanted to do, but as I've been here, it's just like, I like helping students. I like working with the companies. I like doing all the things to make it roll.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, and that's we've talked here on a lot of episodes just about pathways, and that it's never a linear pathway, and just how someone gets into their career field or into different aspects of STEM. And it's often referred to as a braided river, right? And it happens at different times. It happened for you at 32, right? And so somebody could be out there just doing, in one career today and another one tomorrow.
Right. And, I was just last night, anywhere I go, I'm trying to recruit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get people interested. I was talking to this lady last night, and she's working as a server. And I'm like, hey, I've got these programs over here. I can help you. Scholarships available.
Yeah.
If you want to, change your life, we can do that.
Don't have to just be a 16-year-old dual enroll or coming fresh out of high school. Yeah.
I've got students here aged 18. I've had students as old as 63.
Wow.
So, it could be any range. And, when we have cohorts and it's got a diversity in age, I think that's good because, there's some things that the young ones can help the older ones with, and, the older ones can be, father figure, mother figure, things like that to help the younger ones.
Yeah. So it's imagine a great mix and having some of those students together with just diverse perspectives, ages. Right. Yeah. Something that I'm curious about. So the skills that are being developed in manufacturing skills, I don't think that there's often a connection there with that people easily make with STEM. And so we try and raise awareness in what STEM is, right? So just science and technology and engineering and math. And man, the more I'm learning, it sounds like there's a component of all of it with what you all do. Right. Talk to me for a moment about that. It sounds like there's just core components to each of those that students are doing every day.
Right. Yeah. They're working with, so for my EPIC students, they take chemistry classes.
Okay.
Think about the technology part of it where, the industrial maintenance or FAME students they're doing the robotic programming. They're working with all that kind of stuff.
And just the CNC.
Yeah. You look at the engineering part of it. So with it, there's a lot of engineering that goes on, with that CNC and math. The students have to be able to
a lot of measurements and calculations.
Yeah. So, that, and that's part of the reason for our entry requirements. If you're going to be a machinist, you have to be able to do math. Mm-hmm. So,
and so this March 15th deadline, that's an annual thing. It sounds like so it's normally. And so what's these programs? How long do they run? So application comes through, they go through the interview process. Are these co-ops over the summer heading into the fall?
So these they're 5-semester long programs.
Okay.
With the exception of the AMP program. It actually has a 6th semester where they get an advanced CNC certificate. But to get the degree, 5 semesters long, they start in a fall semester, go fall, spring, summer, fall, graduate the following spring.
Okay.
So it's not even 2 years. It's only like 19 months, and they can be in and out.
By. Yeah.
And these programs, they're set up as cohorts. They start with a group. They go through the whole program with the group. Mm-hmm. It's getting the students in and out a lot faster than it would typically take a student coming to a 2-year school.
And so they're getting their associates. They are getting skills and training.
That's right.
They're getting paid.
That's right.
And they're getting certifications whenever they finish. So as a technologist or somebody in tech or cybersecurity, certifications are huge, right? But I'm learning a lot. It sounds like there's a lot of different certifications. What are some of the bigger ones that you see students getting coming out of these programs?
So like with the NC3, we have all types of certifications with it. We hand tool identification. We do safety. So 3M has a safety, and it teaches them things down to how to properly roll down their earplugs when they're putting them in their ear. How far should your safety glasses be off of your face? Mm-hmm. But they do. Snap-on has a torquing certification that they do. Just many of those. They have a multimeter certification that the students earn. So, and then of course all the students in our technologies program do a safety class where they get their OSHA 10. So there are just many certifications that they can get that are industry recognized.
And to that point, being industry recognized, it probably translates to a lot of different things, right? I mean, those certifications have a lot of value in them being able to market themselves for future opportunities. Yeah, that's great.
All the things that you can list on a resume that pique interest.
Yeah.
So
the more the better.
Yep.
The more the better. So as we wrap up, there's a lot of organizations, logos as we're walking around. But who would you like to thank that's really helping make a lot of this possible?
Well, I mean, first I'd like to thank our president here at the college, Jimmy Hodges, because he really pushes for us in technologies to have the things we need to train these students to support that industry need. My boss, John Hawley, I appreciate the opportunity to do what I do. All the other administration, the companies that we work with, we can't make this possible
Certainly.
without the industry partnerships that we have. The students for being willing to take a chance and learn new skills that will set them up for their career in life, and be able to support a family and buy all the things that they would love to have. So that's what.
That's great. Thank you. And just circling back, specific events, initiatives, you've already mentioned quite a few, just as far as when applications are due or when you all are going to celebrate, some of the awards, but any other specific events?
Those are my main ones. I do have a FAME open house next week. I'm really hoping for a good turnout for that.
Yeah.
It typically is, so I'm really excited to see those new students that I may see next year. So it's going to be exciting on that.
It is. Well, Nathan, we really, really appreciate you hosting us here and helping come on this podcast and just raise awareness to the great work that you all are doing here.
Appreciate y'all having me and coming over here.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Thanks
again. Yeah. Thanks again to Nathan and Calhoun Community College for letting us film on location at their Advanced Technology Center. It was so great to learn about the different STEM careers that are attainable for anyone and create tangible trade skills that fill the need for growing manufacturing, industrial, and aerospace industries across Alabama. Please check out the description of this episode for links to learn more about these co-op programs like FAME, EPIC, ACE, and AMP. And don't miss out on the application deadlines to become part of these great programs and kickstart your career. If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to subscribe for more episodes and share with others to help connect STEM across your communities. Thanks again for listening to Incubate Talent and helping build your STEM ecosystem.